Hello everyone. Let's take some questions on LR and DI that most of you really want to solve. Because I see many of you, right, are getting comfortable with LR and DI, so that's a nice thing, right? Okay, so let's look at a question. Let's look at a question. Let's try to solve it. Let's see how we can solve it, right? So before we move on, okay, let's just read up. Let's quickly read up this data. Answer the questions on the basis of the information. In Segal Brothers, there is something. And these questions are also possibly there in exams like XAT, right? And this is the information later on, but there's a question. Just look at the question. In which department is Malini working? Which the following combination is true? How many people report to Nita and who visits Orca, right? So the data is pretty much here. I will give you about, let's say about 90 seconds to, 120 seconds, right? 90 seconds to 120 seconds to read up this data, and then we'll see how to go ahead and solve it. Just read up the data, okay? Just read up the data. Right? So I think that's superb. Okay, let's do this, right? So any one of you got those, got the entire table. That means you could figure out Nita was department, which department she belonged to, and same with Malini, Suket, Fagun, and what's the website? If that is one that you've done, that's good. Okay, there's the four people. That's Nita, Malini, Suket, and Fagun. Right? Let's just put them. Right? We have four people. We have Nita, right? Malini, Suket, and Fagun. Okay, they are from a particular department, right? They're from a particular department, and they all visit a particular, social networking site, or they visit some website. Okay, the person's, some information is given. I would like to call it clues, right? Let's look up each clue and try to figure out what to do with it. The person working in operations, they say, is a female, right? If you're talking of operations, what I'll do is I'll put a circle to represent female and a box to represent male. If you're talking of operations, right, that would be a female. And the person in marketing is a male. So I'll put it in a box. Marketing is the name. Now in this question, can I decide based on the name, right? Yeah, you know what? Fagun has to be a male, and Suket has to be a male, and Nita has to be a male or female. We cannot do that in these questions, right? More often than not, right? So we will not take these the names to be the way to find out whether the person is male or female. We'll have to use the data given in the clues to find out whether the gender of the person or the sex of the person, right? So they say the person in marketing is a male and has as many employees reporting to him as the number of employees reporting to the other three. So let's assume the number of people report to marketing is A, operations is B, CADS is C, and the fourth department, that is sales, right? What are the departments? Operations. We have operations. We have CADS. Oh, we have HR. HR. Yes, we have HR. HR is D. So what they say is A value is equal to B plus C plus D. This is what the meaning is, right? Okay, that's the meaning of the statement. Like, okay. So marketing has the highest number of employees reporting, right? Next statement. Fagun is not in HR. Well, that's nice information. Fagun is not in HR department, right? Someone else is, and the person in the person in ACADS visits Earthbeat, right? We don't know the gender again. Okay, the third clue. So we're going clue by clue. Like I always say, I will not be jumping into everything. We're going clue by clue by clue. That's a method that we'd like to employ here, right? We're going clue by clue to try to sort out these issues, right? We're going clue by clue to probably sort out these issues. Okay, so let's look up. Yeah. So what next? If you're talking of uh, the next part, the person visiting handbook and the one working in marketing, right? So we have someone in handbook and the one in marketing are of a different sex, and marketing we know is male. That automatically means handbook must be a female. That also means a person who is in marketing does not visit handbook. So there's a male and a female, right? Two different persons. And the same, what same are they talking? The same is also true for the other two people. That means the other two people also are of a different sex. And if you're talking of handbook and marketing, the other two people, one person is from operations and the other person is from accounts, right? These two are also of a different gender, but we know operation is a female, so accounts must be a male, right? We knew this. Operations is a female, as given in the initial statement, which means handbook person should be HR. So HR must be taking the handbook, right? Okay, HR must be owning the handbook or visiting the handbook, right? So that's the kind of data that we look up, right? And the number of people reporting, that's the fourth statement, the number of people reporting to Fagun is half of that reporting to Suket and is greater than that reporting to operations by 3. Fagun is half of Suket. If I say Suket is X, Fagun will be S by 2 and is greater than that reporting to the person in operations by 3. If you're talking of operations, um, you know operations, that will become S by 2 minus 3 or something, right? 8 people report to Suket, so that's fine. 8 people is a clear cut number. That means if you're talking of Fagun should be 4. And we don't know who is operations, but then definitely not Suket and Fagun. Definitely not Suket and Fagun is in operations, right? That's pretty clear cut data. And Malini visits handbook, right? Malini visits handbook, and we know handbook must be HR. So department HR, right? And she's definitely visiting the website called handbook, right? So if Malini cannot be the person, if Malini cannot be the person in operations, because Fagun is 3 more than operations. Suket cannot be. Suket cannot be. The person in operations, because if Suket becomes in operations, Fagun is less than Suket. So that the only person left is Nita. Okay, operation must be Nita. Nita must be one, right? Nita must be one, and we know that Malini is not the marketing person. So automatically, Suket should be the marketing person, right? Because Suket is the highest tier that qualifies Malini to have three. Because we know if Suket has eight, the total has to, total of the other three operations. That is, Nita is one, right? Operations that Nita is one. Acats, right? We have not yet discovered who is a cats, but we know HR will become whatever. So this will become 4 and that will become 3, right? So the person Fagun must be in a cats, right? And the website, right? Now we want the website as well. And somewhere previously they said the person in a cats visits Earth, right? These names are a little weird, right? Most of us know what they would want to say, right? And so we have Orcut and Twitter and Orcut. We don't know where to place them, so that's the kind of data, and that's it. That's a simple question to work with. Now the question will probably become a little sticky if this was not there. This statement is not there. Now that would have given a little bit of a zing to this question, but let's hold the question as it is, right? So that's the data for this question, right? Okay, makes sense. So the important part here, guys, the important part is definitely the clue number 3. Now, this was the crux of the entire thing. Anyone who understood the clue 3, right? It would have been a simple take thereafter from the clue 3 onwards, right? It would be easy to solve. The clue 3 was discoverable, right? The context of the clue 3 was discoverable, right? So with that, there's a very simple one. Let's see what we have next. So all good. I hope we are all doing fine with this. Let's go to the next. Let's go to the answers. Answers for the question: which department Malini works? We discovered that is HR. Which is the following combination is true? Okay, we have Nita operations and Orcut. We didn't know Orcut and Twitter, right? Suket marketing and Twitter. We're not sure about that. Malini operations handbook. Malini was in any case in HR, and Fagun a cat's in earthly. That is true. How many people report to Nita? So we have done that a little bit. I think we have one person reporting to Nita, right? That's easy. And who visits Orcut? So we cannot find out. We cannot find out who visits Twitter and Orcut. So we just leave it, right? We just leave it there and we go to the next question, right? Easy, sounds simple, sounds good, easy data, less data, but thought provoking sometimes. It can get a little more complex. Suppose they put in some more categories. Here they've taken number of employees, department, and site they visited. What if they could have put another column in terms of salary, and let's say which block or which building or which city? So there could be like 5-6 categories. That might make it a little lengthy. That will make it a little lengthy to solve, right? Otherwise, simple one. This type of questions are very easy. We had done grid type questions some time back. You can please refer to the old videos, right? You know this. Okay, we'll go to the next question, shall we? Yeah. So this one, I want you to, we'll go through this data and I will give some time to read. But the first question is what's important, and then we'll do it. First of all, let me read it together. The yearly breakup of the employees of a software company is given in the following table. The seniority order increases from, software engineer to project manager to manager and senior manager. So, the most senior in this table is, of course, the senior manager, right? Senior manager is the most senior person here. And after senior manager, you are moved to some place called head office, right? Recruitment, that means hiring. Retention, that means firing, and promotion occur only at the beginning of the year. 5 software engineers with 1 year experience were recruited at the beginning of the year 1999. There's another note given. With experience of 3 years, a person gets promotion and a senior manager is moved to the head office of the company. You can use data from the questions, the previous questions, if required. Right, so that's the data. I have this part. I have this part. The table is there in the next page as well. I want you to have a look at the questions. Okay. So the first question, given the 30 fresh engineers were recruited in the year 2000 and 2 senior managers got promoted, retrenchment was done, right? Was done only at the project leader and manager level in the ratio 3:2. No one quit on its own, of its own, and what the number of managers retrenched in 2000, right? That's the question. right? There are no resignation, retirement at the software engineering level. What is the ratio of the fresh engineers, engineers with 1 year experience, engineers with 2 years experience in the year 1998? How many software engineers were recruited in 2001 if 10 of them left the job? And finally, how many senior managers leave the job in 2000? These are the 4 questions, right? Let's look at the first question. Now, we know some data in the previous question, right? We know some data in the previous question. The data that they had mentioned, right? The kind of data that they mentioned in the previous question was this, not question, in case that 5 software engineers with 1 year experience were recruited. When? At the beginning of 99. So let me put the data here. At the beginning of 99, there were 5 people recruited. That means out of this 80 old people from the year 1998, there were 75 members who can be pulled out. Okay, 75 members. So, from 100, we're bringing down only 75. From here, we only bring down 75. What does it mean? Right? As we know, after 3 years experience, a person gets promoted. And after 3 years experience, a person gets promoted to the head office of the company. Which means in the year 1998, there were 3 categories of software engineers. Total software engineers were 100, right? Software engineers were 100. There were 3 categories. One who were freshers, one with 1 year experience, and the third with 2 year experience. But of course, there were 25 people with 2 years experience. How otherwise would this number 100 become 75? Because there was nowhere else that retrenchment happened, right? Okay, so that's one data, right? Now, in the question number 1, they say that 30 fresh engineers were recruited in the year 2000. 30 guys were hired. So I'll put a box kind of case. 30 should have been here. But this number that we're talking should have been like 80, right? Can you think that 80 should have come down plus 30? That means this number, we're talking of 2000, this number should have been 80 plus 30. That should have been 110. But let's just tally. In 1998, the total number of people is 150. In 99 also, if you count, the total number is 150. That means 80 plus 45 plus 18 plus 7, which is 150. But they've added 5 more. How is it 150? It means automatically 5 of them, right from here, 5 of them got promoted to the head office. That's the reason it is instead of 155, this number, the number in 1999 should have been 155, but it's actually 150, right? In the year 2000, what's the number that we are looking at, right? This in the year 2000, this number should have been 150 plus this 30 that they have added. That means 180. It should have been 180. But if you count the total, 75, 30, 25, 8, right? So that's 75, 30, 105, 105 plus 25, 130, 130 plus 8, 138 is the value in the year. We're talking of the year 2000. The number should have been 180, but it only is 138. So what happened to the missing? There are missing. How many missing are there? 42 missing. So we got to account for this 42. But out of this 42, they also mentioned that, 2 senior managers got promoted. That means we are not worried about 42, we are worried about 40. 40 of them is a question. So the 40 of them, they are no more, right? It should have been 180, but it looks like 138. Out of the 138, right? It looks like 138, but we can account for 140. That means 2 of them got promoted to head office. Right here, there are 2 of them got promoted to head office. Which means, what happened to the remaining 40? 180 minus 138 plus 2. So there's 40. What happened to the 40? Of course, they were fired. The 40 of them were fired in the ratio 3:2 among project leaders and managers, right? If you're splitting 40 in the ratio 3:2, managers should automatically become 16. Makes sense, right? And that's a crux. That if anyone has understood this question 1, everything is a cakewalk beyond this question, right? Makes sense? Superb. Let's look at the question 2. So all of you got it, right? So here there should have been, right, we are talking of 150, the total. Here it should have been 155, but it looks like 150 because definitely 5 of them got promoted, right? Here the number, if we had 150 previously and 30 more would have got recruited in the year 2000, the total happens to be 180. Whether it looks like 138 plus 2 got promoted to the head office, that means it is 140 is the value, but it looks 180, which means that 40 have been fired, right? So they were retrenched at the project leader and manager level, and that's exactly what we try to fix here, right? Okay, let's move to the next one. There were no resignations or no retrenchment at the software engineering level. What is the ratio of fresh engineers, engineers with 1 year experience, and engineers with 2 years experience? Let's get back to this data, right? So 2 years experience we already know is 25, right? We already know is 25. Now we are talking of freshers and 1 year experience. Now that's the data we got to be looking at. The freshers and 1 year experience, we know from here we had 75 drop down, right? And here no firing happened. That means there were 30. This number became 75. So there were 45 guys that were here. Out of the 45, the 5 would have come from here, right? There would have been 5. These guys had 1 year experience, right? Now they have 2 year experience here, and there would have been 40 other guys. There would have been 40 other guys, right? So out of the 75, right, out of this 75, we only bring down 40. So what happened to the remaining 35 people? Why didn't they come? Because no one is firing anybody at the software engineering level. They directly promoted to the project manager. Why didn't out of the 75 we have 40 and we have 35? What happened to these 35 people? Automatically they were moved to the project manager level, and here is where the firing was happening, right? Now, how am I using data from this question? Right, I'm using data from this question because it clearly mentioned use data from the questions if necessary, right? That's the reason we are doing it. Okay, are we making sense here? Okay, so that's easy. So we know there are 35 guys with 1 year experience, and if you're talking of freshers, so the remaining, that's 25, 35, that automatically means 40. We have 40, 35, and 25, right? So that answers your question too. 40, 35, and 25, 875. That's the number that we're looking at, right? 875. Okay, all superb. So shall we move on to the question 3? How many software engineers were recruited in 2001 if 10 of them left the job? How many software engineers were recruited in 2001 if 10 left the job? Let's come back to that original data, right? In the year 2001, right? In the year 2001, right? These 40, okay, first of all, this 40 will get moved off to the next level, right? In the year 2001, how many guys were recruited, right? Software engineers were recruited, right? If 10 left the job. Now, if you're talking of this, right, there are 100 numbers. So, we are talking of this 75. There were 30 who were fresh guys who joined last year, right? These had 2 years. These also had 2 years because they were right here, freshers. In the year 98, these 40 guys were freshers. They 1 year experience here, 2 years experience here. Right? These guys will move out of the system. These 5 will also move out of the system. So this 30 should directly be brought down here. But now the number is 100. So that means, can we say 70 people were hired? No, we cannot say because 10 were also fired. That means this number actually should have been 110, but it looks like 100 because 10 of them were retrenched, right? And from where we don't know, but 10 of them were retrenched. That automatically means 110 minus 30, 80 new guys were hired here. 80 new guys were hired here. But some 10 of them quit. 10 of them quit. That's why the number became, 20 plus 80. That is 100. It should have been 30 plus 80, which is 110. Right? Making sense? Yeah, all of you. The question 1 is good. I think the question 2 and 3 was very simple. Right? So we are talking of 80 new guys, not 70 guys. 80 new guys were hired. Right? 45 of these old guys, right, with 2 years experience out of the 5 here and 40, they are moved off. That means there are 30 remaining who are the 30 fresh guys who were hired here. So this 30 will be coming down here with 1 year's experience. And this number, instead of 100, it should have been 110. Why 110? Because 10 guys are also fired. That means total, we got to think of 110 people out of the 30 got fired. 80 is the number we are looking at. Right? Let's look at the question 4. How many senior managers leave the job in 2002? In 2002, how many senior managers leave? So if you do the same logic, bringing down the values, I think we can gather the data and you can get to an answer. But the question is really different. Now you look at the year 2002, what have they told? They've told it's a projection. Can we ever find out value of a projection? No, they didn't say what could have been a possible number of people who leave their job in 2002. They said how many leave. The answer would straightforward be cannot be determined. This is the toughest question, but it is the easiest and the more logical one among the four of them. Here you don't even have to solve the entire case to answer the question number four. There's nothing to worry in this question. But that's the kind of question which many students will fumble, right? Will fumble at, right? And that's what we are looking at in this question, right? So all good. Let's move on, right? Very nice caselet. I consider this as a very good caselet. Something that if this time these kind of caselet should be more in vogue in the examination, right? Okay, let's move on to one more question. Simple one, right? And what else, right? That's a simple one. Let's do this question. I'll give you about, let's say about 30 seconds. Please read up this question and then we will solve it together.
Press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Okay, that's more than the 30 seconds. Simple question, right? Simple question. There are four friends. Their names start with G, N, D, and M. These are the four people who have some toys with them. Meera has more toys than Daisy. Gunu plus Nun together have as many toys as Daisy plus Meera, right? And Gunu plus Meera have fewer toys than Daisy plus Nonu put together. Who has the maximum number of toys? Now we know that, for this question, since they've asked maximum number, but we could actually sit and find out all the numbers. But then in this case, we know that Daisy cannot be the maximum number for the simple reason that Meera has more toys than Daisy. Look at this part, okay? You see Gunu and Daisy are fixed. What is interchanging is the position of Nonu and Meera, right? Now when Meera shifted from here to here and uh, Nonu shifted from here to here, what's happening, right? Daisy and Gunu are same, but the value here is increasing, right? Which automatically means that Nonu's value has to be greater than Meera. Otherwise, the shift, if they were the same, it wouldn't have mattered. After the shift, it would have been fine. It would have been no change. After the shift, this is happening, which means automatically Nonu is greater than Meera. So Meera is not the highest. It could either be Gunu or Nonu. Now, we know the lower two, right? Nonu is definitely greater than Meera. Meera is greater than Daisy, right? Either Gunu is greater than Nonu and Nonu is greater than Meera. Meera is greater than Daisy, or Nonu is greater than Meera and Daisy, and Gunu could be somewhere. We don't know, right? We have no clarity. What if Gunu is the highest? Right? And Nono is the second highest. Now, highest plus second highest cannot be lowest plus the second lowest, right? That's just not possible. That means this case is ruled out. The Gunu should come somewhere here, somewhere here. In fact, it cannot even come here. It should come here or here. We are not sure of the position, right? So automatically based on that, we can cancel out G. We know the highest has to be N. So who has the maximum number of toys? N. Okay, so guys, that's it from my side. Okay, just before I sign off, before I sign off for today, just a little bit of things what you should be doing in the next few days, right? One, if you're talking of DI, please work on the reciprocal table. Please memorize these values. Like what's 1 by 13? That's like 7.69%. Or like, 1 by 19. That is like what, 5.43% or something. Okay. Now these are certain things that you want to definitely memorize, right? You want to definitely memorize and go to the examination. Keep yourself cool and calm while you're doing DI questions at least, right? LR, maybe after these classes it has got some confidence in you, right? If not, right, you want to rely on your level-headedness. So you'll always have to be cool, calm, and composed when you're doing questions on you know LR, right? Questions on LR, right? Few things, okay? Few things that you want to do, right? In the exam hall, right? If they allow, right? Carry a little bit of toffees, right? Why? Whenever you feel that you're not doing good, right? Take a break. Take a break for about 60 seconds, right? Don't worry about the time waste and pop a toffee, right? This is going to release some kind of chemicals in your mind which makes you feel good, right? The sweetness in the toffee is going to make you feel good. And trust me, it helps. It's a psychological hack. It helps you in solving questions better. Right? But you got to rest for that 60 seconds. You cannot keep thinking of anything else, right? You can watch everybody around. You should not be tense. All you should do is do nothing, right? And you see, you'll get back to the question and you'll solve the same question that you were unable to do, right? Celebrate every time you get a question right. Celebrate and use the questions and use the paper to solve. Don't think that you have to use the, what do you call, the rough book or the rough sheets to do everything. Sometimes the data is so simple, the answer options, the way you think can be so quick, with which you can so quickly you can find the answer. So you'll have to rely on that in this particular examination, right? For quant, I'm sure you guys would have come up with a strategy, but then solve the easy ones in quant. Go in a swing. You don't have to go question by question. Just keep solving the easy ones, right? Out of the 34 questions in quant, I've normally seen about 30 to 40% of the paper is normally easy. So you give a ballpark figure. I would say about, you know, uh, maybe anywhere between 12 to 15 questions will be easy. What if they're tough? Don't worry, there'll at least be 6 to 8 questions easy under any circumstances. Your aim is to identify this, right? Your aim is to identify this and then help solve yourself, right? This logically, this 12 to 15, I'm not saying you'll be able to solve all 12 to 15 or identify all 12 to 15, but traditionally, right, this 12 to 15 questions will not take you more than 20 to 25 minutes. And you see, these questions are like less than, you know, 2 minutes a question. So you have left quite some questions. Let's take the lower limit here. That's 12 questions and let's say 25 minutes. No problem, right? Now we still have a 35 minutes on us, right? And probably all you have to hit is maybe another 10 questions. That's a big number. Even if you hit an 8 questions, that's super, right? If I look up, depending on the if I look at the question paper, right? Question paper, we have what are we talking? We have 3 sections, right? We're looking at 3 sections, right? We're looking at 3 sections. So we have QA, right? Or let me first write VA first. Let me write VA first. So VA, we have LR and DI, and we have QA. So what are we looking at, right? One, the paper is easy, right? The paper is moderate. The paper is difficult. When I'm saying easy, moderate, difficult, I'm talking of all the sections, right? So you can interchange. That means if VA section is easy and LRDA is moderate and QA is easy, so we look up for a strategy, right? So if it is easy, VA, normally even last time, you should be able to attempt easily. You should be able to touch, because it's easy, you should be able to touch around 30 questions in VA, right? If it is easy. LRDI, if it is easy, right, this will stretch to about 24 questions. That means 6 cases, right? Easily it will stretch, right? And if QA is easy, yeah, that ballpark figure about 25 to 28 questions, right? Out of which I'm talking of an accuracy of 85 to 90%, right? 85% to 90% accuracy level, right? This is what you'll be solving. So you'll notice the cutoffs will become high there, right? What if it is a moderate level difficulty in VA? So the number of questions that you should be looking at attempting is anywhere, around 25 questions, right? And if it is a difficult paper, right, if it's a very difficult paper, then you will not be able to stretch beyond the 21, 22 questions, right? Very difficult to do that. In case LRDI is moderate, so that should be about 5 case slits, 20 questions, right, or about that figure, right? And in case it's difficult, right, we're looking at about 50% of the paper, that's about 16 questions, maybe a little lower. Then 16 questions will be a super safe bet, and you'll also not, take off your chances of getting in the top IMs, right? That means the 99 is assured here in most cases, right? If you're looking at QA, if it's a moderate paper, so let's say about, somewhere between 22 to 24 questions if it is moderate, and if it is difficult, let's say about 18 to 20 questions max that you'll be looking at attempting. So everything here, okay, here also we're talking 85% to 90% accuracy. But uh, if you're talking of VA, oh, okay, if you're talking of the VA overall, okay, 85 to 90% accuracy in every section. But if you're talking of like section wise, LRDI, your overall accuracy should be hitting above 90%. You cannot make wrong here, right? Quant, maybe a bit here and a bit there, right? So your accuracy level would pretty much be around that, maybe about that 85 to 90% only that we're talking about, right? But your VA could be about 80 to 90%. Your highest, the if you're talking of the kind of what can I say, the accuracy level should be highest in LRDI given any case, right? So if you sum it up, in this table, whatever I've done now, what if the VA paper is easy and the LRDI is difficult and the quant is moderate? Now you know what to do. You know what you do. What's the kind of attempt? Now what I have drawn here is a table just to tell you how to get it for sure. You're assured of a 98 plus percentile in CAT. Come what may, does not matter. Easy, difficult paper, right? This is what could be a strategy. Now, what if it changes? Last year, verbal was easy. What if it is moderate? What if it is moderate and LRDI is easy, right? LRDI is easy and quant happens to be super easy again. So that's how it is, right? That's how it is. And don't think that if it is an easy paper, right, it's going to be nice. There's no such rule, right? Because if it is easy paper, right, your speed and a lot of things will change. So don't go with the mindset, I'll have to attempt 18 questions. Right? It can vary depending on the question paper that you're setting. All right, so that's what I'd like to say. Thank you very much for listening, right, and all the best for your examination. For the examination, do let us know of your marks, right? You can always connect to us. That's the number here. You can connect to us. You can connect to me by mail. You can pull me up on LinkedIn, right? I'm there at Sanjeev Paul on LinkedIn or any social media platform, more or less with my name. You can identify. It's P as in Bengaluru, Sanjeev, right? You can connect with me. Thank you very much. All the best.
You can learn any subject, anywhere, any place, and on the go. Come, let us go the other way in learning. Download our revolutionary app for free AMC.